It's only supposed to be third.
Oh, okay.
I caught that.
And that was changed. Correct?
I'm not sure.
All right. All right, so they will stand approved as presented. For the current financial report, you all received a copy from the auditor's office of the current financial report. I would entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to approve the financial report. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. At this particular time, I have nothing to add or take away from the agenda.
Motion
ahead.
to accept the agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to accept the agenda as presented. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Okay, public hearing. We have nothing specifically scheduled for this evening. We do have a couple special guests, so anyone wishing to address council, please come to the microphone, give your name and address, and state your business.
Hi there, good evening. My name's Lauren Bowen. I'm here on behalf of the State Treasurer's Office along with my coworker Marcy Longnecker, and our address is 8118 Corporate Way, Mason, Ohio 45040. And we really appreciate your time tonight and letting us address council. Our main purpose for being out here is to kind of get your thoughts and input on something. We feel that there's just something we kind of want on your radar and we really want your feedback on. And we are circling around to almost 4,000 local governments across the state of Ohio and having a conversation about the idea of coordinating an effort to make expenditure public information available in an online format. We began this effort back in 2014 by publishing all the state's expenditure items online so that you can understand how every last dime of your taxpayer dollars are spent, anywhere from the Ohio Arts Council to what they're buying regarding office supplies, all the way to the other extreme at the Department of Transportation and the money they spend to keep I-75 torn up all summer. And having to have accomplished that, we thought that it would be good to start having conversations with local governments to see if we couldn't accomplish the same thing on their behalf, given that we have the technology and the know-how in order to achieve this. And so that's what brings me out here with you fine folks this evening, to see if there might be a way that we can work together to publish your expenditure information online in a digital format, so that your taxpayers also have a resource to understand how their money is being spent. And I've been on your website here at the Village. It's a very nice website, and there's lots of points of reference. You have your agendas outlined, you have your meeting minutes, you have a lot of information on there. And this would be a perfect complement to what you're doing, because this is adding an interactive tool to be able to detail the bills of the village and give folks a better understanding how their money is being spent. We are urging this partnership. We're very much hoping to be able to work with local governments in achieving this. So it's just kind of our hope to get some of your thoughts and feedback about the possibility of moving in this direction. I know that every meeting, kind of just to give you a frame of reference as to what we're trying to undertake, you get a printout of all the bills for what was spent the previous 2 weeks or maybe even the previous month. It's detailing that. It's culminating those expenses across fiscal years in a searchable database. So I don't know if it makes sense to maybe come to a finance committee meeting. We can bring a screen, we can bring a projector, and we can sit with council that are members of the finance committee meeting so you can see it in more detail. But we just are very interested in having a conversation about the possibility of implementing this here at Greenville.
Would something like this be on your website or our
No,
website?
your website.
Our website.
Yep. It's a tool that we build on your behalf, but it is for your use to incorporate into your website.
What is the cost to the city?
There
for
is
this?
no cost. It's a shared service between state government and local government. And we handle the workload on our end, so there's no extra amount of time involved for any of your fiscal agents or any of the people here that have a really, they're really hands-on with the financials of the day in and day out operations of Greenville. We just work with them in a 5-minute session, get the data that's relevant, the expenditure data, and then on our end, we construct the platform. So there's no cost involved and there's a minimal time factor.
I like the idea of the added transparency that it offers.
Yes.
I mean, as long as, I'm sure it'll be a clear.
It is. Yes. And that's our idea behind it, that, we want people to be able to have trust and confidence that when, as stewards of their state taxpayer dollars, that we're using their money in a very conscious way. And if we're not using their money in a very conscious way, which I can't claim at the state level, we do that all the time, but they should know it's their money. And we just feel convicted to help local governments achieve the same thing, just knowing that you do your best every day to serve the good people here in Greenville. And you try to do your best to make good decisions and do right by them.
How many municipalities are doing this?
1,000.
1,000.
Yep, we have 1,000 published. We have 1,300 that are committed. So we have about 300 that were in the works of getting on board. But for instance, today we visited Ansonia, Arcanum, Versailles, and not Rockford, another really small village here in the county, and they all have expressed an overwhelming interest to do this. So we're adding more and more every day.
When did you first start this initiative? I know this hasn't been just current.
No.
You started, what,
Went
several years
in
ago?
December of 2014.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And what kind of response have you gotten since you started? I know
Very
you say you've got
positive.
1,000 now, but.
Yes, very positive. I mean, we've been having a very overwhelming response from local governments and wanting to do this, mainly because it's simplifying life. It's practical. It's practical for the government. It's practical for the end user. It's modernizing things. It's updating things. I mean, when people are carrying around computers in their pockets, public records should be available online. And certainly you all do a good job of that, because your website is really nice. And I wouldn't just be saying that. I've been to hundreds of meetings, and I work with hundreds of local governments here in the southwest corner of Ohio. And there's different levels of advancement of local governments in the way that they've embraced technology. But I think here with this tool, it only complements the good job you're doing in providing those digital resources. I would love to come to a finance committee meeting. I think that in a lot of governments your size, that just kind of gives you an opportunity to lay eyes on it and decide where to go from there.
The only issue, ma'am, is that our finance committee only meets on an as-needed basis.
Oh, okay.
They have just met to review the 2019 appropriations request.
Okay.
And there's a report this evening that this council will consider. And until such time as they might review in October or November,
Sure.
the final appropriations, I don't know, unless something comes up, that there
Sure.
will be a committee assignment.
Well, we're really
Or we could,
flexible.
a special meeting could be held
Yeah, and
by them.
we're really flexible on our end. We want to accommodate you in any way possible. We're just eager to get this information in your hands so that you can make an informed, educated decision.
I don't know about the finance committee. I think it would be more appropriate to meet with the auditor and the treasurer.
Yeah, we would
or,
love that. We would love that very
whatever,
much.
They would, however they could assist
Yeah.
with that, because they're the ones who would be doing that actually,
Yeah.
not necessarily the finance committee.
Yep, and we've certainly had conversations going back and forth, stretching over the last couple years about trying to intersect and make that happen. And there's no such thing as too early or too late for us on our end. We'll make the drive, we'll come out here, we'll bring everything that we need to make sure that you're up to date. Whether it be the auditor, treasurer, whoever.
I almost think that would be an administration type situation that would decide that, not just us or the whole council.
Well, I mean, how are other municipalities handling this? I mean, they just go ahead and do it?
I mean, yeah, they
Does
really
it-
do.
does it require it doesn't
No,
require legislation?
No, it doesn't. It's a matter of the council being agreeable and us coordinating an effort to get the data, and on our end, we construct the platform that houses this expenditure information. So it's something that can be done in the blink of an eye.
It'd just be an addition to our website, actually,
Yeah.
right?
Right, and we would work with your web administrator to make sure it's a layer to your website and it's set up that way. We do that all the time.
But someone has to feed you.
Yes,
The
we would
information.
just have to get with the city auditor and pull the data off the system, and that would take us all of 5 minutes to do. And we come out to you, and we do that here in person, so it's not any extra labor or any extra burden.
What's the benefit to, if the city is interested in putting that information on its website? Simple reports could be run on a monthly basis and PDF'd on our website rather than going through all the work of whatever it is you feel that you need to do.
Sure,
What's
the benefit is that this is a searchable database, and the data is a lot easier to read and understand. And that's why we've gotten overwhelming positive response and good feedback from the public and good feedback from the local governments, because the idea behind heightened transparency is giving people not only the ability to have more access to the information, but providing it in a format that they can more easily understand, read, and digest. And that's the point.
Is this an initiative by our state legislature or by another?
This is a
legislature?
coordinated effort between the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, and there is support for this in the state legislature among certain House members and senators have expressed interest and support. At the state level, across different agencies and at the state legislature, there has been expressed support for this. Yes, let me add that, and I think this is a really good point to leave you with, that we were 46th in the whole country before having to have undertaken this. And as an entity that was ranked 46th in the country concerning transparency, we were putting all of our information online. We were making it accessible to people very easily. But the thing that we were considered not doing well is providing it in a way that people could understand. Because people have to understand what they're reading in order for it to be something that resonates with them and that they can connect with. And so having to have made it available online in a searchable format in a way that's just very easy to read, that simplifies it for people, we're now #1 in the country. And we've set a standard in the whole country here in Ohio for government transparency. So we really thank you for your consideration, and we'd love to know the next steps forward and if this is something we can undertake here at Greenville.
I don't know that any members of council are particularly opposed to the issue.
I think it's a great idea. I like it.
Thank you.
I like the transparency.
Price is right.
The only, I guess, request that I think we would have is to simply work with the city auditor and
Yeah,
other administration, and that's.
we will show up. It will take us 5 minutes. It really will, and we will work with you here in person. And then once we have the data and construct the platform, you have a chance to review it first before it's made live. So if there are questions or concerns, you have a chance to mull over the information, and we don't make it live till we get your final permission.
Is this like, then what, every,
However often you
Month
decide,
or-
whatever's most useful here for the city.
Is there some local cities around here that are already online that we could take a look at?
Yes, I mean, you have like the city of Clayton, Montgomery County's coming to mind to me. I'm just trying to think of a city of comparable size.
About, Troy, Tip City, Piqua?
Not in Miami County. Beaver Creek,
Beaver Creek.
yeah. Kettering. Yep.
This isn't just a local initiative, is it? I mean, you've also gone to counties and
Oh,
townships and,
If I had my way, I'd go to the Cincinnati Zoo and ask them to put their expenditures
what kind
online.
of support have you gotten from the counties and the townships?
We have 33 counties. I mean, we have about a fourth of every local government type. So between townships, cities, villages, school districts, we have about a fourth of every type.
I like the idea of giving anyone who wants to go on our website the opportunity to see what's being spent
Thank
in a
you.
clear manner.
Thank you. Yep. It's their money.
It's our money,
Okay.
everybody's money.
Yep. I really think that once we build the tool and Roxanne sees that it's very easy on her end, because we would never want it to be burdensome for her or very complicated for her. And once we start the steps and build out your platform, I think you all are going to be pleasantly surprised. And I think you're going to find the process so painless and so easy, and it'll be one of those things like, why weren't we doing this all along?
we do post some of our financial data online, don't we?
Annually, we do,
Yeah, okay.
annually.
All right.
Do I just reach Roxanne about next steps?
So this would be by monthly or ever how you guys?
However often,
decides to do it?
I think once we work together, Roxanne, and I will come to you, we will come to you, if you could just carve out a few minutes for us. And once we do that, you can decide how often you want to update it. But I think it's really important you see the steps involved in pulling the data from your accounting system. And then once that's achieved, I think you can make the decision from there about how often you update. Some entities do it quarterly, some do it yearly. Most townships do it yearly. It's all up to you, how often. So thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me talk your ears off about this. It really means a lot. It truly does.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address council may do so at this time. Doesn't seem to be anyone moving, so we will move the agenda, continuing on to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I have the same thing as I've had for the last couple of meetings probably, but we're getting closer and just kind of getting exciting for everybody in the city as far as the band shell, fireworks, horseshoes is kind of the big thing on the horizon. We're working today a little bit and had a little meeting and see now the band shell's coming around and the list of people to thank and donors and people that might want to say a few words and people from the past are two members from the last council that besides this one that we're seeing through the steps of preparing money for the city to make sure the band shell gets going again and being rebuilt. So July 1st is the dedication. It's there's be a new sound system. The Jim Zeringer is going to come speak. got the new name on the top, all redone. It's really a cool looking place. Jim Beakey will be speaking also, and a list of people to thank. So also the park board members from the past, they'll be present that helped get this thing on going, and past mayor will say a few words, I think. Him and Dale Musser, park board, kind of talked about this maybe 10 years ago, something that they had commented about. So anyway, besides that, that should start around 6:15 to maybe 6:30, but we're kind of looking at that a little bit. In the next day or two, we'll decide exactly when that's going to start. When we first brought it up, we had like 20 people going to talk, but it's no use to do that. We'll certainly want to thank them and stuff like that. So everybody will get a few of them will get a couple minutes, but we got a couple main speakers. So anyway, then the fireworks at dusk. The horseshoe tournament is in the afternoon. There'll be food trucks down near the shelter across from the football stadium. That'll be kind of a little bit different than normal. They had a big success last weekend, I guess, that the food trucks, they were just bombarded, I guess. There's people everywhere. So that's the biggest things. The fireworks are paid for by now, so everything's looking good. So appreciate everybody's help and look forward to a big day. See you on that day, I guess. Then I pass.
Okay, thank you, Safety Service Director. Mr. Garrison.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I have three things to discuss with you this evening, and all three are related to Main Street Greenville / the Broadway business area. At the last council meeting, Krista Hutchison from Main Street Greenville made a verbal proposal to council to consider parklets for the next two First Fridays, and then also gave you an update concerning the bike racks. It was decided at that meeting that a written proposal was needed to be presented before council. Working with Krista, you have that written proposal in front of you now. First part of that proposal is the parklet. There would be 4 parklets. The locations are outlined within the packet. The parklets would be, we would use those during the months of August and July. Please omit September and October. And that would be during the First Friday event. Parklets would be constructed no more than 24 hours before the event, and they would be removed within 48 hours after the event. The cost, and when I say cost, I mean cost to the city, it's just our time. We have a little bit of time before, 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, basically to do a little bit of cleanup, put out some parking cones, pick up the parking cones, nothing drastic. Not sure if council's had enough time prior to the meeting to review the packet, but I would just entertain any questions as it's related to the parklets. The next item to discuss would be the bike racks. There would be 10 total bike racks. There's also an attached map within the packet outlining the locations, the color of the bike, and the reason we put this in here is because if you look at the pictures of where the bike racks are depicted to go, a black icon was used to note those bike racks. I wanted to specifically point out that the color of the bike racks will be very similar to that of the old bike racks. As far as installation cost, Main Street Greenville is seeking approval from the City Council to have the street department install the new bike racks. Estimated costs would be $2,650 in labor, $600 in material. And this is a formal written proposal brought to council seeking your approval that these projects could be moved forward. Any questions on those two? Would it be possible to get an informal vote as to whether or not council wanted to move forward with those?
Well, you need something formal to expend the money, don't you? Or was that has already been taken care of?
The money would be through the budget, the appropriated monies through the budget. No additional monies is being requested.
Okay.
Does that need to be a motion?
Sure, I'd entertain a motion to do that.
So move.
Make the motion to approve.
Hensley. Okay. Motion by Mr. Henley to approve this proposal on both sections, right? The bike racks and the
Correct.
parklet things, issues. Okay, and the motion is made, discussion. Under discussion, this is what I was hoping, sir, because this gives us some definition to what, where, when, and why, and all the stuff that is necessary, rather than, well, we just like to do this. Because when somebody says, we just like to do this, there are 7 heads up here that are all thinking different things and pictures in your mind. And so if we have something pretty concrete, then what we're passing is pretty well defined. So we are striking the September and October out of the parklet thing, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just 2 months, July and August. Okay, further discussion. Call the roll then, please.
Hottishell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Have at it.
All right, thank you. And then the last item to discuss this evening, approximately a month from now, we will be getting ready for our annual Annie Oakley Days. And with Annie Oakley Days comes a parade and the annual sidewalk sales along Broadway. Last year, during the sidewalk sales, there were, what's the word I want to use? We'll call them issues with the issuance of parking tickets due to the fact that folks would call the police department complaining about a car being parked in a certain parking spot longer than the 90-hour time limit. And when our police department receives the complaint, they must investigate that complaint. And when they did so, it was not in a manner that would pick and choose which vehicle. So all vehicles were evaluated and marked if there was a complaint within a certain block. And upon that complaint and upon that investigation, there were tickets that were issued. This caused some of our business owners and or managers to get upset. It caused, because of the parking tickets, business owners and managers were upset because people were parking in front of their business too long. So it caused issues all the way around. I have presented Mr. Burkett prior to the meeting a committee assignment or request for assignment, if council would so incline, to have a committee meeting, to have a conversation with the police department, Main Street Greenville. If business owners would wish to attend, I think during that meeting we would review the current parking ordinance for the downtown business district. We would hear from the business side, from the police side, and then council to make a decision if the law or the rules stay the same way, or if there needs to be some exceptions made during that time period. I'm not throwing out a recommendation either way. I think it's just something that we need to look at, evaluate, and make an informed decision. So that is a request that I bring before council this evening. And with that, Mr. Council President, I will pass.
Okay, thank you. I will address that when we come to committee reports. Okay, thank you, sir. Law Director, Mr. Brand.
I'll pass.
City Auditor, Mrs. Wellman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but since we had the 2 ladies from the state come in, I guess I'll mention a couple of things. This initiative was started back in 2014 by Josh Mandel. And at that time, I started checking into it and calling around and asking people what their thoughts were. That, I mean, like I said, counties, townships, municipalities, there were anybody that had books that should be open to the public. They were going after everyone. And one of the things that I was hearing consistently from the folks that did not want to go on board, and one of the reasons I decided not to at that time was, no, it doesn't cost any money right now, but down the road, it's probably going to cost us something. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. So I'm more than willing to talk to them and find out what their plans are down the road and what they're willing to offer us. But that was one of the reasons I did not jump on board at the time they were originally starting this up. And one other thing, down the road, we may not have a choice. I have a feeling that eventually, because this is a big initiative for them, that they're going to mandate it. And they're already saying people in the state legislature are interested, so it may not even be a choice down the road. So, like I said, I will look into it some more and I will get back with you. And with that, I pass.
I think that's very, very well said. Thank you. Now, moving on to committee reports. We have one out of the Finance Committee regarding the 2019 preliminary appropriations.
A report dated June 12, 2018. Honorable members, we hereby submit our report. The Finance Committee met on June 12, 2018 to go over the submission request for the 2019 preliminary budget. The committee finds that the figures provided by the auditor balance and recommends that council approve the proposed budget submission so the 2019 preliminary budget can be filed with the County Budget Commission. Respectfully submitted, Committee on Finance, Chairman John Hensley and Member Jeff Whitaker.
Make a motion to accept the committee report.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to accept the committee's report. Discussion.
The thing to remember about this is that it is the preliminary budget, and there will be a final budget towards the end of the year, which will be more comprehensive.
But this is the one that will be submitted to the Budget Commission, County Budget Commission for review. Do we have to have a public hearing on this?
Yes, and
Okay.
Vicki, you're going to, it's out already.
Okay, and so we can set that for the first meeting in July?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Powdershell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Now, regarding Mr. Garrison's request for a committee assignment, the current parking rules and regulations for parking in the downtown enterprise zone, and determine if a change in the rules and regulations during sidewalk sales, July 26th through the 29th, those 3 days only, would be warranted. So I am going to assign this to the Safety Committee since they deal with parking, as it's noted here, sidewalks, streets, alleys, traffic signals, parking and controls, and police and fire operations. So and it kind of involves all that. So Mr. Wright is the chairman, Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Godwin. So I will assign this to the Safety Committee for your review, and we'll need that
Soon.
soon. Okay, don't mean to put the heat on, but to Mr. Wright, but,
As you will probably only have 2 meetings
yeah,
prior to the event.
so,
ASAP.
can you accomplish that, sir?
Get her taken care of.
All right. Okay. Okay. Moving on. Huh?
What date?
Oh, could you have that by the,
Third.
what, the 3rd of July? Shoot for the 3rd of July?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Next, or moving on, ordinances and resolutions, we have 3 to consider. First is a transfer ordinance.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. This ordinance allows a transfer to the general fund from salaries municipal building in the amount of $12,000 to ground maintenance municipal building in the amount of $12,000. This transfer is needed to cover cleaning services and additional maintenance expenses.
Motion to suspend the rules and give this ordinance reading first and second time by title only.
Motion from Mrs. Howneshell to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville. An ordinance for the transfer of funds among the appropriations of the various funds of the City of Greenville.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Motion from Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Next, we have an ordinance to suspend the enforcement of the codified ordinance regarding garage sales, Chapter 2, 828, regarding the world's longest yard sale thing and declaring an emergency.
An ordinance to suspend enforcement of the codified ordinances, Chapter 828, pertaining to the conduct of home sales from August 2nd, 2018 at 12:01 a.m. through August 5th, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. in connection with the conduct of the world's longest yard sale event and declaring an emergency. This ordinance suspends the enforcement of the codified ordinance, Chapter 828, pertaining to the conduct of home sales from August 2nd, 2018 at 12:01 a.m. through August 5th, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. for the world's longest yard sale event in order to promote and stimulate tourism and the economic vitality of the city. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules, give this second and third reading by title only?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second, third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
An ordinance to suspend enforcement of codified ordinances, Chapter 828, pertaining to the conduct of home sales from August 2nd, 2018 at 12:01 a.m. through August 5th, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. in connection with the conduct of the world's longest yard sale event and declaring an emergency. An ordinance to suspend enforcement of codified ordinances, Chapter 828, pertaining to the conduct of home sales from August 2nd, 2018 at 12:01 a.m. through August 5th, 2018 at 11:59 p.m. in connection with the conduct of the world's longest yard sale event and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency.
Motion by Mr. Howneshell to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Move to adopt the ordinance?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
And next, we have a resolution authorizing contract with Choice One Engineering for engineering consultation services for Wagner Avenue roadway improvement project.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering Corporation for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for the Wagner Avenue roadway improvements project. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering Corporation for the rendering of professional engineering services for the infrastructure improvements to Wagner Avenue.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion, Mr. Godwin, to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering Corporation for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for the Wagner Avenue roadway improvements project. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering Corporation for the rendering of professional engineering consultation services for the Wagner Avenue roadway improvements project.
Move to adopt this resolution?
Motion by Mrs. Howneshell to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Houdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
That concludes our ordinance resolution. Nothing under old or new business. Communications.
Monthly reports were received from the following departments: Police Department, Street Department, and Transit Department. And a notice from the Ohio Division of Liquor Control was received that an F2 permit application had been approved for the Dark County Center for the Arts fundraiser on July 13th, 2018. These reports and notice have been submitted to council.
I have an item of communication here, just a moment. I received a communication from Jeff Subler, who's the Vice President of Support Services at Wayne Healthcare, and they are wanting to proceed forward and informing all of council and administration and any department heads that might be involved in this whole issue of Wayne Hospital's proposed project, and they would like to meet with City Council in a work session. There will be no action taken. They won't be requesting any action to be taken, just it's an information session. I would rather do it on a night other than a regular council night, so we do have time to converse and ask questions, and they will make a presentation. So they are suggesting, we have 5 Tuesdays in July, and they are suggesting the end of July, perhaps either the 24th or the 31st. I didn't know whether anyone was in vacation mode at that particular time or how it might work, so I'm asking members of council, what would you prefer, and an approximate time or something that we could go.
How about the 31st?
The 31st? Does anyone have an issue with that?
I'm good.
Okay,
6 o'clock?
let's do special council on July 31st. It's a work session. With Wayne Healthcare. You want to go 6:30, 6 o'clock? How does that fit with you, Mr. Rogers?
I could probably make 6 if I, might be a little late, but I should be able to make by 6.
You prefer that time versus later? Okay. We
6
will
p.m.
propose that. I will get in contact with Mr. Subler and have the clerk send you all emails if that works. If it doesn't work, we'll have to make some other arrangements. Okay, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Could I make a motion to excuse the absences?
You certainly may. Mr. Godwin was going to do that. That's all right. Motion by Mrs. Howdeshell to excuse the absences. Do we have to do May and June both? Okay, for May and June. Discussion? Call a roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Nothing further? Call down the council, please.
Mrs. Howdeshell?
Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight, and with that, I pass.
Mr. Rogers?
I'm going to pass tonight.
Mr. Whitaker?
I want to thank everyone for agreeing with Main Street Greenville and helping get those bike racks done. It's going to be nice addition to downtown, and looking forward to the parklets again on the July and August first Fridays. Everyone had a great time the last time out, and hopefully the weather will be as nice. Boy, that was a beautiful evening out. The weather couldn't have been any better, so we need to top that. With that, I'll pass.
Mr. Wright?
I'll pass.
Mr. Godwin?
Yeah, just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and hope people can hear us at home. And I'm glad to see the YOLO Park thing has finally got the hamburger shop down, and some activities going on that corner. And with that, I'll pass.
Mr. Hensley?
I will pass.
President Burkett?
Likewise, I will pass.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Hensley to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Howdeshell?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Hensley?
Yes.
Thank you all for your attendance, and good night. We are adjourned.
I knew if I brought
My head.
That was his first ever.
Start wearing long underwear.
Close.
We should get on your.
You guys.
Yeah.
I wore it too.
That's how it is.
Oh, Lordy.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
I could tell you weren't too excited about that.
I wasn't. I mean, like I said, I checked
wanna
it
put
back
that-
up 14 when you first started, and it was kind of the plum in his.
Safety committee? Yeah, it don't matter to me.
Absolutely.
It is.
When you want, what,
It is.
when are you available?
You're gonna hear it. Usually troops and everything, we could pull out of it if they start charging. We just say, forget it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, those were all the.
You name
those
it.
were- That was the biggest concern.
I work both Tuesdays and
Because
Thursdays.
to me, the state couldn't mandate that. You can say, forget it.
I don't know.
I would
They've
challenge
mandated a lot of stuff that we never
Yeah,
thought that they
well,
could.
I don't think